Hey, it's that time once again. It's time to talk crime in Polk County, and no better person to talk crime with than one of our own Crime Stoppers, the man in charge of the Crime Stoppers program. He would be Chip Brown. Chip, how you doing, bud?
Fine, Brian. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, and from what I understand, the program's working pretty good, right?
Yeah, we've had some real good success stories and going well, and some new things going on. So we're real excited about it.
Okay, we're going to talk about the success here in a little bit, but let's lead off with a little bit for those that might be joining us the first time. What exactly is Crime Stoppers?
Well, Crime Stoppers, we are an independent organization. We are affiliated with Crime Stoppers throughout the nation, but we offer a way for people to leave anonymous tips on criminals or criminal activity. If that tip leads to an arrest, the recovery of stolen property, the recovery of narcotics, then that person is eligible for a reward of up to $3,000. And the biggest thing is, it is completely anonymous. When they call in, we don't record the phone lines, we don't have caller ID. They're identified only through an ID number that we give them, and they have to contact us on a follow-up line. There's no way for us to call them back because we don't have their number.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the next question people would want to know, well, you know, in these times of budget cutbacks, how is this funded? How can we fund this? As our tax dollars are our tax dollars going for this?
Yeah,
obviously not.
Well, that's one of the neat things. A lot of people do think that it is a tax that everybody pays on this. We are actually funded primarily through what they call the Crime Stoppers Trust Fund grant. And this is funded when people go to court and they are assessed fees or fines. Part of that fine includes a $20 fee to the Crime Stoppers Trust Fund. That money goes to Tallahassee. At the end of the year, it comes back to the counties where it came from for crime stopping. In this case, we cover Polk, Highlands, and Hardy County. So basically what we have criminals paying people to turn in other criminals. So it works out well.
That's always cool. Well, let's talk a little bit about our featured, our first one that we want to be on the lookout for, a guy named TBird.
Yeah, we've talked about this young man, TBird, for the last couple of months now, Brian. This is Terrence Drayton. He's a 21-year-old black male, 5'10", 180 pounds. He have warrants for him for attempted first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit armed robbery. Occurred back on December the 2nd of this past year. Still trying to locate him. We do also have him being looked for by the U.S. Marshals Florida Fugitive Task Force. So we are looking for TBird. Like I say, we're looking for him a couple of months, and we really want to get him because he is considered armed and dangerous.
Speaking of armed and dangerous, we've got a gentleman, attempted murder, Key Harrington, last name?
Yes, Kelvin Lewis Key Harrington. This occurred actually September the 21st, just a couple of days ago. We are trying to locate him on charges of attempted murder as well. He is 31 years old, last known to reside on Sears Avenue Northeast in Winter Haven. The victim was shot, is recovering locally from that, but we have charges on Key Harrington for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, tampering with the victim, shooting into an occupied vehicle, and attempted murder.
All right, and of course next is, when you sent me the email, I looked at it, I said, kangaroo robbery. I just had this vision of a kangaroo wearing a mask, you know, short arms, put the money in the pouch and nobody will get hurt. But it's at a kangaroo store. At
a kangaroo store, yes, in Winter Haven. The pictures, if you see them, look at them here, these young men had their faces covered. But we're certainly concerned about this because one is armed with an automatic handgun and the other has, looks like to be a short-barreled or sawed-off shotgun. Now, no one was injured in this robbery, but if you know anything about this robbery occurred in Winter Haven, please give us a call, 1-800-226-TIPS. That's 1-800-226-8477. You'll stay completely anonymous and be eligible for a cash reward of up to $3,000.
Now, a few months back, it had been a while since I heard of this, but a few months back there was a cattle rustling, and I thought that only happened back in the day. And just to show you the determination of our local law enforcement after these cattle were stolen, they just decided to, you know, kind of check the red light. It happened up in the Haines City area, and they checked the red light cameras, and the guy that stole the cattle ran a red light. It was like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Is that how that went?
That's true. That's correct.
And that was one of the first cattle rustling crimes I'd heard of in Polk County. Now, evidently, we've got another one.
Yes, we had another one since then that we broadcast earlier. It was up actually off Berkeley Road in Auburndale. But the most recent one occurred sometime back in August, early September, in the Bradley area down south of Lakeland. Had a theft of 8 Angus-type cows. Again, it was off of the area of Doc Durrance Road and Highway 37 in Bradley. All of the cows are marked with yellow ear tags in the right ears and a yellow button tag in the left ear. So the cows did have markings on them. But if you've seen anything, have any information, maybe have an idea who it is, please give us a call. The Ag Unit for the Polk County Sheriff's Office is a very aggressive unit. They work very hard. And we've had a number of things, and we really want to put a stop to this.
And also another one that we're looking for. There's been some thefts in vehicle burglaries over in the Juanita area.
Yeah, we seem to have a rash of these periodically, and a lot of it goes back to people just getting careless, getting forgetful, and not locking their cars. This is what happened on August the 27th and 28th over on the Eagle Lake Loop Road in Juanita. There's a picture. It's a very fuzzy picture. It's not a real good one, but it is the best that we do have. He was going into unlocked cars. It looks to be a white male going into unlocked cars and removing things from in the car, GPSs, credit cards, loose change, stuff like that. Like I say, it occurred usually after 1 o'clock till around 2:30 in the morning. And most of the time, just people forgetting to lock their cars. So it's very important to lock your cars and do your part to keep everything safe.
And 2 important lessons to learn out of that. Number 1, everything that happens bad happens after 10, 11 o'clock at night. So be home and be safe. And number 2, lock your cars.
It's not rocket science, but I have to admit I'm guilty. Sometimes I thought I have locked my car, and I have not. So it's easy to, so just always double check your vehicles, make sure your doors are locked on your cars, on your homes. Don't leave stuff laying out on the dash that people will see, you know, GPSs, laptop computers, purses, anything that they can see, because even though it's locked, they can still break out the window. So,
as my grandmother used to say, you're just borrowing trouble.
I had not heard that, but I like that.
There you go. Next up is Wrecker Highway area, armed robbery.
Yeah, this is another incident where after midnight, usually that's bad things happen after midnight. This was a robbery on Wrecker Highway in Hatfield Road in Winter Haven on Friday, September the 13th of all dates. A lucky date indeed. But described as a Hispanic male, about 6 foot tall, 170 pounds, was wearing a red backward-fitting ball cap. He was actually seen exiting a older model black Ford Crown Victoria. Now this vehicle had damage to the right rear quarter panel. Fortunately, he did not get the victim's backpack that he tried to steal, but the suspect was fled in the vehicle on Hatfield Road, and this was on September the 13th, Lucky Friday. So if you have any information on this case, the picture you can see is a pretty good composite drawing. If you recognize this man, give us a call, 1-800-226-8477, and if your tip ends in an arrest, you could get a reward up to $3,000.
Now we get to the part of the show where, well, we like to prove that it doesn't take a rocket scientist to be a criminal now, does it?
No, it does not. Sometimes they're kind of innovative with the things, but it doesn't usually work out well.
I call this one a double loser for obvious reasons. Go ahead and we've strung them along enough. They're just looking at this going, really?
Yeah, well, it's just another example of how smoking is bad for your health. In this case, is a Winter Haven Magic Market on 6th Street. Young lady came in and asked for a carton of cigarettes, and when the clerk put them on the table, she decided, well, you know, I don't have enough money to pay for my cigarettes today, so I'm just going to grab them and run out the door. So if you recognize this young lady as a white female with long black hair, give us a call, 1-800-226-8477, and we can help maybe curb this lady's appetite for illegal cigarettes.
It's not bad enough, it's a bad habit that you can't afford, but now you've gone ahead and stolen it.
Yeah, it's going to get you one way or the other, health-wise or criminal-wise, yes. Yes.
We want to talk a little bit about success stories. Last month we featured an individual who was caught. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, we actually, from a couple months ago, we talked to him for the last 2 months. Elenio Suarez. This was a case involving an armed home invasion and robbery down in the Frostproof area. They had warrants for Suarez. A couple nights later, Polk County Sheriff's Office deputies saw him at a local convenience store, attempted to stop him in the vehicle. Elenio Suarez decided he did not want to stop. And so as he was fleeing law enforcement, he was actually firing shots at the deputies as they were pursuing him. There was a couple other people in the vehicle with him. They actually ended up down in Hardy County where they all fled on foot. And Suarez did get away that night, and we've been looking for him for about 2 months. Well, we got a tip, which we just approved at our board meeting last night.
We'll talk about that shortly.
Okay, and so we located Mr. Suarez, and he is, like I say, we had a reservation at the Gray Bar Hotel for him.
Yeah, Gray Bar.
His reservation has been filled.
2 hots and a cot.
There you go, exactly. You know, he's going to be getting 3 squares a day.
Now, as far as success stories goes, that's for those that have been caught. But for the program itself, the money that has been distributed to those watching over and turning in these nothing more than criminals is what they are. Let's talk a little bit about so far what you guys have done this year.
Sure. Well, up through June of this year, 2013, we have received 933 tips that have resulted in 111 arrests and cleared 83 cases. Now, this is pretty much on par from what we did last year. So far this year through June, we have approved rewards of $35,000, actually $35,475. Last year, our total rewards that were approved for the year was $49,000. So we're almost at where we were last year, and we're only halfway through the year. So we are getting some very good tips. We are making some very good cases, and it's all because people are calling, recognizing folks, and sharing the information, and staying completely anonymous, and you know they are being rewarded for their efforts.
Something that the folks are going to see out on the roads in a partnership with Polk Transit, Lakeland area transit, things along that lines. You guys got an exciting announcement. Got a new bus with all kinds of information out there. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we actually did. This just was unveiled last night at our board meeting, and we had some local officers also help us to present this bus to the media. We had Lakewell's Chief Velasquez was there. We had people from Lakeland Police Department, Polk County Sheriff's Office. Major Baggett was there. Chief Bodenheimer from Los Angeles Police Department, as we say, LAPD, which is actually Lake Alfred PD. But when we say LAPD, we with that. But also officers from Winter Haven and Auburndale. We had, and Davenport Police Department had people there. So real excited about that. We have had signs inside the bus for almost a year now. And now we have the actual bus so that people that don't get to ride the bus can actually see it as the bus passes or is stopped on the road. So it serves a good message. It has all the ways to contact us. You can contact us by phone, by web, or by texting. All those are on the bus as well. So it's just has some visual reminders of things to do. And the bottom line is we just want to make our community safer, a place to live, work, and play. And it takes everybody's involvement to do that.
So many times when you think of Polk County, you think that Grady Judd is the face, and really he is, and when it comes to lawmen, but we have so many fine law enforcement officers throughout Polk, Hardy, and Highlands County, and making sure that we support these guys who go out and put their lives on the line to protect this community. You know, you want to thank them and you want to help them, and Crime Stoppers is a way that they can do it.
Absolutely. Like I say, a lot of folks are hesitant because some of these thugs are pretty mean thugs, and people are afraid to get involved because they don't want to be identified, they don't want to have to go to court to testify, they don't want to wake up the next morning and find their cars been vandalized, or wake up smelling smoke and their house is on fire because somebody has set a fire to it. So this way it does stay completely anonymous, and like I said, we don't record phone numbers, we don't record conversations. You have an ID number, and you have to actually contact us on a follow-up line to get the information on your tip, how it paid out. And we do have to verify with law enforcement. And again, like you said, our hats off to these guys that have to go out and investigate all these calls that go out. These over 1,800 calls that go out and tips. If it wasn't for these ladies and gentlemen in law enforcement, hitting the streets and making the extra effort to follow up on these cases, that makes it a success. So it's not just Crime Stoppers, it's not just citizens, it's not just the media, it's not just law enforcement. It really is an orchestrated event that everybody has a very important role to play, and it is working well. We're excited about it.
Well, Chip, it's always a pleasure having you come in, and look forward to doing this again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brian. Looking forward to it.
And we encourage you at home, make sure you get involved with Heartland Crime Stoppers. Make that difference in that community that you live in. Doesn't matter where you live. We want to make sure that all the residents in Polk County are safe and their property is protected. Now, Crime Stoppers is an international organization that has the goal of resolving crime through anonymous tips and monetary rewards. It encourages cooperative partnerships between law enforcement and the media in the community to ensure security and enhance our quality of life. Tips can be submitted by phone at 1-800-226-TIPS, the web heartlandcrimestoppers.com, or by text TIPS 196 plus the information to crimes. That is 274-637. Now, they take calls 24/7, and they guarantee that the caller will remain anonymous. You need more information, go to the website heartlandcrimestoppers.com or to Facebook, Heartland Crime Stoppers Florida, or don't forget that number, 1-800-226-TIPS, 8477.